Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Thank you very much, my friends, for notifying me in your comments and texts and all that about some technical difficulties with my last two videos. There were some sound problems. They were not synchronized, but sometimes there's synchronization in my videos, and then when I post them, they just become unbearable. I apologize for that. Problem solved. This video, we have here about 7 topics, very important topics. I wouldn't have picked them if they were not important. But these topics will help some of you to figure out, or at least to confirm the dynamics of this garbage that we have to leave, which is unfortunately the events in Ukraine. Who's interested in that? Not our own personal lives, but what's going on around the world. By these guys' movements and actions, you can create a pattern, and then you can reach conclusions. First one, I have first one from the about 6 topics. The first one has to do with Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy wants Tomahawk missiles, and he doesn't want 1 or 2, he wants thousands. That's the first topic, according to the victory plan. I will show you what a Tomahawk missile is, and no, I'm not going to show it to you right now. I'm just going to show it to you on the screen. All right, so that's very dangerous. He wants thousands of Tomahawk missiles. Then the other topic, Ukraine is going to draft 160,000 more people. Why? Because we have another article here stating that the desertions in the Ukrainian army are reaching, again, about 100,000 people. Now, only the desertions. How many people lose their lives for these guys' interest, that's a different topic. Well, we're going to move on to the Middle East, and over there we'll find out the Jewish state, how they like to call themselves. You can't say the American state or the Romanian state, because that would imply ethno-homogeneity. And as we all know, diversity is our strength here. They must be very weak because they don't promote that in their little... Anyway, so we're going to move into Israel, which I think they are threatening the Iranians with possibly nuclear attack. Possible nuclear attack. Sometimes you have to read between the lines, if you know what I mean. Next one, we have 2 articles coming from the Russians reporting that they liberated 2 important, strategically important towns. One, it's in Donetsk, that is towards Pokrovsk, and the other one is the one in Kupyansk. And I'm going to show you a map. I'm going to show you more than a map. Where this village is. I think the front, the Ukrainian front, is going to collapse. I think the Ukrainians cannot hold it, and their actions, decisions show that. And the last topic has to do with a Russian warship arriving in North Africa. That's very interesting, don't you think? I think it's very interesting. We're going to discuss all these topics. So let's start with the first topic. This comes from Ukrainska Pravda. Zelenskyy requested Tomahawk missiles from the US as part of victory plan. New York Times. So this is, let me put my goggles, they're too far away from me. This is from Tuesday, 29th of October, 2024. American journalists have reported that as part of the undisclosed details of his victory plan, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, I don't understand why those 2 Y's are over there at the end, allegedly requested Washington to supply long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles. Question, answer, why do you think he wants Tomahawk missiles? Now I'm going to show you the specifications and the range, of the Tomahawk missiles, and they're not 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, 400 miles, 500 miles, they can strike further. So these guys show desperation. Remember, if things work, don't change anything. These guys are trying to change a lot of things. So let me show you the number this guy, I'm being very nice, calling him just a guy, requested. Ukraine would need 1,000 Tomahawk missiles to cripple Russia's missile production. Well, this tells me that these guys want to strike deep inside Russia, wherever the Russians have their missiles and the production. And who's there to say that they will stop only at that? In a war, let's say someone wants to, you are, let's say, with your family somewhere in the street, and someone corners you, and you are with your family, and someone corners you, and you have, let's say, a Walter PP 99 right here, all right, 40 caliber with some rounds in it, and this guy attacks you with a knife, and you say, back the fuck off, and he's coming over and tries to slash you, stab you. What would you do? Oh, I'm not going to use my Walter right here, because why? I'm going to try to abracadabra some punches or something, or a karate. I'm going to get this and the fuck off. I'm going to fuck you up right now on the spot. Or, I'm sorry, the ladies that you're going to be with, we're going to call the police in the meantime. Yeah, okay. So you can do that. I won't. I will defend myself and everybody else in danger. So what do you think the Ukrainians, if they're so desperate, will do? They will hit in desperation Moscow. They will hit anything that their masters are telling them, including the Tomahawk missiles. The Ukrainians cannot operate them. The Americans will not allow them to operate those missiles. It's going to be operated entirely by the Americans. The Ukrainians will not be even allowed to transport them with the trucks. All right, let's go and see what a Tomahawk missile is. And I'm interested in the range. Here, Tomahawk missile family, Adams family. So this is the baby doll over there. So we're gonna go range, operational range. You see the operational range right now? So it's 1,550 miles. There's 2,500 kilometers. The other ones are 864 nautical miles. It seems like 1,000 plus miles, 1,600 plus kilometers. And these guys they're all. These are the only ones that have between 250 miles, which is 450 kilometers. These are the lowest range. But if you get these ones right here, you can stop and look over them and see their range. I think that desperation clearly shows in this request. Will they receive it? No. No, I guarantee you they will not receive them, or I guarantee you the Americans will not bring the Tomahawks in there now. If Russia loses, they will bring them all in. Maybe, not maybe, certainly nuclear weapons as well. Let's go to the next topic. Next topic shows us a reality, which is the Ukrainians, some Ukrainians, don't want to fight against the Russians. And I will discuss some of the most likely reasons why. So here you have Ukrainska Pravda, so these are the Ukrainians reporting on this. 160,000 more people to be drafted into Ukraine's armed forces. Why? Because they're winning. That I will put that together with this from New Voice of Ukraine. Increased frequency of desertions in Ukrainian military, says top judge. How much would that be? Well, we're going to find out. From Russia Today, more than 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers have deserted. Well, you say, well, that's coming from the Russians. Well, hold your horses. Let's read and see what those guys are saying in that article. First, let's look at this one. So let's make this a little bit smaller, smaller and more playful, you know. Sometimes you need to be more playful than big. All right, so it says here, these guys from National Security Defense Council announced at a speech in Verkhovna Rada today on the 29th, I'm sorry, yesterday on the 29th of October, that 160,000 more people would be called up for service. In total, 1,050,000 citizens were called up to the defense forces. The plans are to call another 160. So that would make 1,200,000 people. Details: according to this guy, mobilizing an additional 160,000 people will allow military units to be equipped to 85% capacity. All right, good for you, good for you. But we find out that increased frequency of desertions in Ukrainian military, says top judge. No, I will not help anybody here because unfortunately for you guys, you're owned, and I don't help the owners of Ukraine, which is not the Ukrainian people, unfortunately. All right, we have a slightly better situation in America. We're owned by the same guys, but they let us, the leash is a little bit longer. There is a growing trend in the Ukrainian military of soldiers going AWOL, away without official leave, and deserting their units, head of the Ukraine Supreme Court said on October 29th. He also mentioned desertions and refusal to follow orders as issues of growing concern. What did I tell you? We're going to have a little military insurrection in Ukraine. I said this for a long time. Let's see if they give us a number here. I don't see a number here, but according to the Russians, more than 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers have deserted. MP. But this MP is, let's see where from. The behavior of the commander is contributing to low morale. A lawmaker has said more than 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers have deserted or gone AWOL during the conflict with Russia. Ukrainian. So it's not coming from the Russians. MP Anna Skorokhod said on Tuesday, and I'm quoting her, I will not tell you the exact number of people who deserted and went AWOL, but will say it is over 100,000. 100,000. When you hear someone saying it's over 100,000, so it's 100,010, usually it's closer to 100,000, but not necessary. When you're a weasel, you do like this. Well, it's more than 100,000. Well, over 100,000 is 50 million. I'm exaggerating. Or 1 trillion. And if someone says, you lied, no, I didn't. Because actually, over 100,000 are 1 trillion. The number 1 trillion is over that. So when you hear these guys telling you that, I know in logical times, in normal times, there would be a little bit more than 100,000. Even 100,000 is bad. And I don't think they consider the guys who already left the country. Now, why would these guys not fight? I think that's at least 3 reasons, the main reasons. One, people are afraid. People are afraid. We are afraid. That's the first reason. The second one, maybe they consider the Russians not their enemies. Maybe they consider the guys who push them into war their enemies. Some of them don't want to fight for Zelenskyy and his clique of, you know who they are. So all these could be main reasons why the Ukrainians don't want to fight. Some Ukrainians don't want to fight. Someone made a comment at one point, and I'm going to help that person instead of, said something that when I commented that I don't lie, I never lied to you. When they said, well, you lie every time you use Russia Today or the Russian media. Well, I report on that. And I report on the other liars as well. It doesn't mean that I support that. I read for you, like right now, telling you that this guy said, I don't know, over 100,000 people coming from the Ukrainians. It doesn't mean I lie. So, my friend, you gotta think a little bit beyond the 4th grade. That's a help, a hint. Now, if you get upset with what I said, that's also bad because that inhibits your ability to develop. All right. I know I don't like to be nice, but I like to be truthful and straight. If you don't like that, grow the fuck up. All right, let's move on. I don't lie here. That's a big thing. Next one. Israel. Let's go to Israel. Israel. And I'm going to read you the title. And you first think, what do you think about this? Coming from Sputnik. This is from 7 hours ago, today on the 30th of October. Israel warns Iran next attack to involve, and I'm quoting, capabilities not used in latest air raid. Okay, so what would you conclude out of that statement? Do you think they're going to use, I don't know, baboons? They never use baboons, I guess. Do you think they're going to use, I don't know, circus clowns? Ladies of the night? Porn stars? No, they're not referring to that. That's a threat. So how can you threat these guys? What else do you think they have? Missiles? They launch missiles. Rockets? That's below missiles. What do you think possibly they use? I think this is a warning that they can use. Come over here, baby doll. Right. Better. It's a chair. So they will use nuclear weapons. That's why I say you can't allow this kind of state to own nuclear weapons. I'm not saying that the United States of America is entitled to have them. Why? Because they already committed a crime using atomic bombs. So they should be the last ones on the list allowed to. The other ones can claim things. These guys did it. Yes, that was a war crime. Targeting civilians and the mass killing, that is a war crime. The reasons, we can discuss the reasons, and if we accept the reasons provided, the justification, then think about the Russians using the same two reasons: shorten the Ukrainian war and saving our brave men's lives. Can Putin use that justification? No, he can't. I mean, he can, but it seems like he's not going to. So I think, as I said many times before, the only way you can fix things over there with this threat, remember, if this guy is going to use nuclear weapons, and I am 98% certain, 99% certain that if Israel has nuclear weapons, if they have nuclear weapons, and again, I'm 99.9% certain they do have nuclear weapons, that's my gut feeling, okay? All right. Then they will use it, 99%. And then what? Who's going to stop them? Nobody. So then would you allow this little entity that is in charge of their country to use it? They have to be disarmed of the nuclear weapons. They cannot have it. I think only responsible countries can have it. And you say, who's the responsible countries? A strong country that doesn't have to use it, doesn't need to use nuclear weapons. And you can say, well, Russia is threatening. No, Russia is threatening the United States of America, not Ukraine with nuclear weapons, because Russia is not fighting the Ukrainians only. Ukraine without the West would have been done in 2 weeks. So it's actually the big guys fighting over there. And once these guys sober up, there's the nuclear weapons will be taken off the table. In that region over there, I think a little 2-hour operation, very well organized in Israel, could make sure that they will never have nuclear weapons. And the Jews or the Israelis will be protected, as the Arabs, the Palestinians, and so on. But that needs goodwill. You have to want. If you don't want, you're not going to do it. Or you're just going to pretend you're doing it. All right, so that's with these guys. Let's move to the Russians claiming they liberated certain villages, or at least strategically important towns. The first one coming from Sputnik. And this is from 2 hours ago, today on the 30th. Russian troops liberate strategic village near Kupyansk in Kharkov region. So what's that town's name? We find out is Krugliakovka in the Kharkiv region. So let's see where Krugliakovka is. And it is right here. Let me see if it's over there. All right. So this is the map of Ukraine. This is Kharkiv, Kharkov. And this is where the town is. You see this little thing here? That's bad. That's bad for the Ukrainians. Why? Because Kupyansk is right here. Let me see if I have my... Yeah. So we have, this is the town these guys took over, liberated, however you want to say. And they're going to probably encircle them here. Once they pass They cross this little river here. They're free to go. Nothing here. Just planes, and can go around to Kupyansk. This is the town. So it says here, Krugliakovka is a village in the Kupyansk district of the Kharkov region, located 20 kilometers south of Kupyansk, 20 kilometers, on the eastern bank of the Oskol River, near a road bridge. A railway line connecting Kupyansk with cities in the north of the DPR, controlled by Kiev, also runs nearby. Got that? Very, very important development. And we're going to jump to the next article. Again, the Russians, according to Sputnik, report that Russian forces liberate strategically important city of Selidovo in Donetsk region. These guys are just rolling in Ukraine, unfortunately. For the maybe it's good for the Ukrainian people, because they don't have to lose their nation, like continuing to fight for other countries. So here is Selidovo. This is Donetsk Oblast. Where are you? Right here. And here is going towards Pokrovsk. And Selidovo is where my strong hand is, taken over. So they're going to go around again. They are advancing. And look what's going on here. That's bad again. It's only bad situations. Look what's going on here. Look at here. This is bad. All this, when you see all this is pinching moves, you have to retreat here. Otherwise, you have the big right here. This is the one that I covered right now. This and that. You are in danger of being encircled. And when you get encircled, you get decimated, or captured. And then you know what happens when you're captured. And let's go to the last article here, coming from Russia Today. Russian warship, singular, arrives in North America. Not yet. North Africa, my bad. All right. Admiral Gorshkov has visited the port of Bizerte in Tunisia to commemorate the Russian squadron's legacy. We're going to see where that is located, in Tunisia. The Russian frigate Admiral Gorshkov has docked at the port of Bizerte in Tunisia to mark the 100th anniversary of a stay in Tunisia by the Russian squadron. 100th anniversary. All right, so let's see. The frigate set out on its long-range missiles on May 17 and has traveled over 13,000 nautical miles, including port visits in Havana, Cuba, and I thought it was La Guardia airport, La Guerra, Venezuela, before entering the Mediterranean on July 2027. Why do you think they're over there? But let's go and look at the map and see where it is located. And this is North Africa and part of Europe, Southern Europe. This is the Mediterranean Sea. This is Libya. Why important? Because Tunisia is next to Libya. So we have Libya, and we also have Algeria and Morocco right here. The Russians bring their things in all this area. So they're taking over all this. So this is Tunis, but this is in this area where the Russians are located, south of France, right here, of Italy, Germany a little bit north. So that's not good for some people. Unfortunately, it's about Europeans being on Europeans, and I don't like that a bit, because our enemies succeeded to get us fight one another in two wars. Why? Because we have traitors among us, like any group has traitors among themselves over there. So here it is, my friends. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and then be just. See you later.